what they want, and then it's too late. When I took the step, was I moved by lust? Was I moved by faith? The truth has a way of finding the light, or changing in time. Did I fall in love? Did I make it up inside my mind?
Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
the grenades from Pompu, eliminate everybody on the field.
Damage from something as well is going to be applied as a death block them, and it's going to be huge. Fighting 3.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the 4-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Hello and welcome everyone to this day of tranquility. We have got a pretty exciting match for you today. We're in our Harmony tier, the Golden Plat tier. We've got two teams running right in the middle of the pack, looking to separate themselves from the Wolves and put themselves among the Kings. I am K-Wing, and I'm here with McMissile. McMissile, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's another little tranquility day, tranquility night. We got some awesome games as you precedented. Disclosedn't versus Basement Dwellers, both 3-2. Yeah, this is gonna be a make or break for who can take that momentum. Approaching stage 2, I believe we're in now.
Yeah, coming into stage 2, all of these teams coming off of that little break we had for event week, raising money for You Are Rad. Really great stuff, but now we are back into the meat and potatoes of what Tranquility is all about, the Overwatch. And really, 3-2, both these teams, we said, middle of the pack, looking to separate themselves out and show off what they can do, because, gotta say, one of these teams is going to drop down to 500 here. Going to drop down to that 3-3. One of these teams is going to come up to 4-2, and I'm excited to see what happens on our first map of Nepal here.
Yeah, me too. And just really quickly, some predictions for this matchup coming up. It looks like most of the people on the predicting tranquility last night. Okay, NRFT voting 3-2 in favor of Basement Dwellers. Kalem does 1-3 though for Disclosedn't winning this one, but Choi Se-won comes out with an 0-4 for Disclosedn't. So some interesting predictions for tonight. So it looks like these are some this is gonna be something. And it looks like they're coming out on a bit of a rushy kind of dive sort of deal.
Yeah, you've got two very different compositions here. One with that Symmetra looking to get to point and stay there, but Basement Dwellers has already taken that position. Sim turret's getting set up, and that rushed composition of Disclosedn't is sitting on the point where it wants to be. Gonna have to deal with these echo shots from Phantom Trips already rolling in, slamming down everyone. Is that wrecking ball from Basement Dwellers is lawful, and now just peppering in the damage, just trying to keep this Ryan Comp at arm's length. They will have to give up the point with just that burst damage that this team can dish out at close range. Immortality Field has to come out. They're just sitting and poking, looking for that first pick, looking for those first mistakes. Basement Dwellers are going to go low, but they're actually going to end up pulling out before they start to re-engage and come back in on this Tracer, trying to find these picks, building up to ultimates. Now that Wrecking Ball slamming in, they have the mines, and these ults are getting built up, but still no real decisive picks. There comes the minefield, maybe now trying to force them out, but there's the beat to counter it. An interesting combo nonetheless. Disclosedn't is rooted in, and they are not moving for anyone. Nearly getting the pick onto the Symmetra, but she's the first to go down. Raiko soon to follow, and Phantom Trip 2 with the focusing beam, gonna use the copy to take out the Mei, and finally, after a long fight, Basement Dwellers will retake the point.
That was one fight, 52%. That was fantastic stuff. Phantom Chips with coming out with 4 in total there. A nice little 2 for with 1 laser beam. I think the main kind of takeaways for that Basement Dwellers, they even though they lost 52%, you saw that was a very strong performance. Neither player dropping a single dang pick that entire time. Now with people coming up on Ultimates, this is gonna be something a bit more abstract coming up, but it looks like so far Basement Dwellers have a really good understanding of exactly what players they want to take. Oh well.
Oh, but
the ultimate.
FTD has got a big understanding of I hit mouse 1 and W, and everyone do die, and Lawful's just gonna have to stall out the point for a little bit, and it's a quick flip for Disclosedn't.
Yeah, FTB, more like MTD right there. But coming up on some some support ultimates from the side of Basement Dwellers. They don't have necessarily the same kind of stable kind of like health pool, so to say, for Disclosedn't. They have to play a little bit more spread out, a little bit more diverse, a little bit more versatile. But they do have the means of trying to get a really good hold of Iceberg and the kind of DPS support lineup of Disclosedn't.
Yeah, and they're gonna start out with this rally here, but Cheese is gonna go down immediately. That rally only stays up for about a minute. They're gonna have to use the contenders to try and keep themselves alive. They're investing in everything but the kitchen sink, and still, but the double kill! The double kill with the mines! Lawful turns it around, but it's still not enough. They have to pull back. Is anyone even going to be able to touch kill? He's taken out with the hammer. Lawful goes down, the overtime pick. The slam onto the remnants of the mech, and Disclosedn't with a solid 100-33 win there.
Oh jeez, and I'm still trying to recover from that first fight where it got all the way to 52% before like Pixie even able to happen. Disclosedn't coming out really strong. I think the Sim May was just, they made it work with the map so well. Kind of threw Basement Dwellers for some circles. They're still, it looks like they're still going to be running with that same kind of composition, but I think it's going to favor this map more because there's that big kind of environment you can fall in, and there's also just more room to kind of breathe for those more high precision kind of dives and whatnot.
Completely agree with you. This is exactly the sub-map that Basement Dwellers want. They want that long range to really take advantage of Phantom Trip, really that high point on the Echo. We'll have to see coming in now.
Oh, absolutely, they picked up about 4 during one fight about last round. Looks like Iceberg's gonna go both for a bit of a Tracer kind of duel, a little bit of a slight variation in team comp from Disclosedn't. Looks like CVS Pharmacy is coming out on that Torbjorn, and FTV just rushing it with the Ramacha.
Really going in deep, aggressive stuff, running into the entirety of Basement Dwellers. That might work in ranked FTV, but you are not in ranked. Gonna get the pick onto the Brig, but it might not be long. They have lost their Kiriko, they have lost their main support, and they will be prime targets for Phantom Trips with a focusing team. Gonna burst them down quick, but FTV still alive, still with some hope, and eventually that point is in Disclosednt's favor right now, so they're trying to keep them for as long as they can. It's going to be as soon as they can get those last few picks, but Lunch is going to get picked off. That's then going to go down, and it might not even be a flip now for Basement Dwellers. They're struggling now. They can't get those picks. The pick under Raiko could be what they need, but CVS Pharmacy is just set up, dishing out the pain. With that right click, the minefield is going to come out. Can it find the value that it did in the past? It will, with some help from those sticky grenades from Phantom Trips, and a flip comes through.
Yeah, and with Phantom Trips getting a little bit of 3K to end that off with, I think the main kind of thing that arose from because we saw again, like a really strong standing from Basement Dwellers, but just kind of getting that kind of right time where all 5 players can move at once. So I think they're kind of actually playing around this Echo pick a lot more than I may have thought to begin with. Yeah, Iceberg switching over to the Sombra to try and deal with it. Also some more gameplay, but it looks like Basement Dweller looking to set up this kind of advantage with the point presence here.
That they are, and they're gonna be missing that beat from Chris Kringle. Used it and got a bit of an Ajax beat, but they're also gonna be missing their Moira, their main support. They're just gonna walk in and get bursted down. Almost no ults, but the copy and the rally come out. This is the new rally. It's the ultra wide 21/9 shield. The Brig rally, the rework coming through, and Cheese has foreseen a pretty good fight.
Yeah, holy smokes! I've seen like 3 Briggs rally today. I love to see it just every time. Looks like Iceberg on the summer now. You know, trying to make some little tickles with the hacks there. It's just gonna reset again. Looks like yeah, Basement Dweller is still kind of in control here.
That they are. That hack gonna try and put a stop to Lawful, just creating chaos. Disclosedn't has so much presence that they just walk in and they force everyone off the point. CVS Pharmacy is going to be sent down to the abyss courtesy of Lawful. The Transcendence is going to be brought out just by the Nemesis form. That is a huge play there from FTB, just going in so aggressively. Still has the Annihilation, still has that huge ultimate. Might want to use it at some point, but they're going to be dead before they can. And it's not going to be anything. They're gonna die with ult. They're gonna die before they can really get anything going. CVS Pharmacy is going to dive straight into the mines. Reich is gonna go right into the abyss, and it's just all over. The EMP will come in, but with no follow-up. It's Basement Dwellers taking us to sub-map 3.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. Basement Dwellers. I pointed out fans on the Echo earlier. It's just like because it melded so well with their supports, you know, the kind of damage from and frontline presence from Cheesy, really putting up quite a fight for FTB to kind of dismantle. Lunch with the Discords as well, kind of just set that up. But in the end, there it pointed out earlier the mine value from Lawful on the first round, and then this round was just really good with the environmental kills. So I think Lawful kind of getting some shining plays on this ball here. And I think that might be the kind of thing to put them over the edge in this up and coming map.
Yeah, and you can see exactly that the effects that that's having. That swap from these supports, Chris Kringle on the Lucio and Reich on the Moira. These heroes cannot be dived, but FTB sees that those supports for Basement Dwellers are pretty good dive targets. So we might be seeing Lunch have to deal with some pretty big feasts of characters jumping in onto them, but Kale is going to be the first one to find a pick onto the tank. FTB going to be going down first, and it's not going to be looking very good for Disclosedn't as it's the Dwellers cleaning up on the point, or Disclosedn't is going to find a pick and the point, but eventually the pulse bomb is going to get thrown in, and it's looking even better for Disclosedn't as time goes on. They're nearly going to find the pick onto the Lucio, who will barely stay alive. Chris Kringle with the value coming in, staying alive, has the beat, might not even need it at this point, as Disclosedn't knocked the Basement Dwellers out.
What the? That was crazy. These teams go at it and fighting for that point like crazy. I was gonna call them point dwellers, but as you saw, Disclosedn't totally stole that point from out under their carpet. So now looks like they're gonna try and reclaim this. Lawful going in with the mines, really trying to separate that backline, and actually does find a pick on Iceberg.
Early pick onto Iceberg. That's a lot of that pressure on with that Symmetra, and now Disclosedn't is trying to fight down that one man, not going to use any of their ultimates to try and make that difference, but they'll find a pick onto Lunch, and it is going to be more winnable for them now. Pick onto random trips, and they don't even need the ults anymore, and Disclosedn't off of a no ult fight keep this point and keep it rolling up.
I think the main kind of thing that's happening here, that second map, I think, yeah, Basement Dwellers had I believe a small maybe map advantage. Disclosedn't now kind of running a more kind of assertive composition than they ran on the first point. They've got the Reaper, they've got the Monkey, they still have the Sim, but with this support lineup, you're getting a lot more kind of fluidity when you're on the point. But now it looks like Basement Dwellers trying to make a point from their own. Yeah.
This is an aggressive use of ults from Disclosedn't. They've got the beat, they've got the coalescence, they've got the wall, they've got absolutely everything, no matter what. They had all 5 ults, and CVS Pharmacy dishing out the damage, dishing out the death, getting 2 picks. Iceberg again getting caught up in the mines of Lawful. Just really padding those stats for our Wrecking Ball legend. Gonna try and spin to win, but it's 99-0, and you are just trying to stall out the point at this point. There's the copy from Phantom Trip trying to see if they can get that Death Blossom before getting knocked out. They're going to get knocked out of the copy before anything can go through, but it's some valuable time bought, but it's still not enough. And Disclosedn't is going to take that first map.
That was a hard case of control right there. We're starting to see those long fights, and it's just like these picks by the ball coming in like when you least expect it to. I think all around that was a pretty like that was a good warm up match for both of these teams. I don't think necessarily. Well, I kind of want Disclosedn't to win just because but like, did you see any one team performing necessarily better than the other?
I'm not sure. I mean, you had a few different situations where Disclosedn't really outshined Basement Dwellers a bit, but I'm not sure. I think Basement Dwellers definitely have the ability to stick their foot in the door. This is not over by any means necessary, and I think you have to think about that when you're talking about maps and what's going to come up next and what really these teams want to be thinking about when it comes to their maps.
Absolutely. When you one of the last fights when Joey going with Cheesy started going with the Brigitte rally, and that you pointed out that was a very aggressive fight. They started that before even reaching the point, and then the second that was happening, Phantom Trips comes down or Coalescence comes out, trying to really cut that off before they even reach the point. So it really is like these teams are really playing for each other's players, it seems.
Yeah, and I like this map selection here. The next map we're going to be going for is Blizzard World. And I'm interested about that because you would think that the team that really played that rush on our first sub map, that really wanted to burrow in and just kind of almost bunker down as close as you could get to bunker in Overwatch 2, would really hate that map selection. But I mean, Disclosedn't, we saw the Winston pick coming out from them, and I think that's definitely that's something that you got to be scared of if you're Basement Dwellers. That's scary. A good Winston on Blizzard World. Fun.
Plus, we saw the Reaper come out. Yeah, they're definitely able to pounce on players that they want to. Like it looked like they wanted to get the support lines of Basement Dwellers, and depending on like who's on attack and defense, we'll see that when it comes. But I think mainly the Basement Dwellers, I think they gotta play a little bit more defensive. Coming up for the kind of more aggressive disability. But on the flip side, we saw a lot of dive and stuff, and more of that like kind of flowy kind of stuff come out from Basement Dwellers. So as we head into the next map, the little title switch over the heads. But I think what kind of composition would you want to see Basement Dwellers kind of run here?
It's interesting.
So far, yeah.
I think that for Basement Dwellers, what we've seen a lot of from them has been that ball composition. And I think I really want to see them play more around that wrecking ball and play very decentralized and play that sort of chaos reigns, coming in with like a Tracer Sombra and something like that. I'm interested. The Echo's been good, but I'm not sure. I'm not really sure about it. It's an odd one out in a little bit in this comp, but it can definitely do the work.
I think the kind of vibes you're picking up is that it might be a little bit predictable. As you can see, Disclosedn't already running a kind of Sombra for it. Iceberg on the Torb as well. It's going to make it hard for kind of Tracer to dive. So yeah, Disclosedn't fully expect Basement Dwellers to run what they're sticking with. It's going to be interesting to see how Basement Dwellers do some funky stuff on this reigning Blizzard World.
They sure will. And not the stall tactics from CVS Pharmacy just coming in and just trying to annoy Basement Dwellers in charge of the ESC. I love it. I love Harmony Tier, because only in Harmony Tier could you see a Sombra just peek out behind spawn and just go hi there and just annoy the heck out of the enemy team. Wonderful stuff. I mean, it's delayed them about like 10-15 seconds, so not a complete waste of time, for Disclosedn't in a bit of a funny situation, but there's the slam, nearly knocking one off. Iceberg barely going to stay alive, but now they are lawfully caught right behind enemy lines with not much in the way of support. They're going to get out. They're going to keep knocking people until they find the pick, and the pick is on to Chris Kringle, and through some shenanigans of their own, Basement Dwellers are gonna pick up this first point.
Wow, Basement Dwellers, reflecting a lot of control with their dive. The second we got off control point, going to something a bit more objective based, you know, some payload. It looked like they kind of know exactly, like you saw Lawful swinging around that high ground, knocking people off, making quite the presence, and with that, you know, it kind of made CVS Pharmacy kind of struggling.
You really did. I completely agree. You saw a really struggle there from the members of Disclosedn't, and they're switching onto this Diva composition drag counter to be more mobile, and they're really doing well with it. 2 picks from Iceberg onto both of the supports. Iceberg is going wild, absolutely cold.
Cool. Shivers. Yeah, absolutely. And now they got this kind of spawn kind of plays. FTB on the Diva, kind of chilling on the high ground. So it looks like, yeah, Disclosedn't trying to play them at their kind of own kind of dive game, and now a spawn, an EMP in spawn.
Oh, that's dirty. Just targeting those 2 supports, and that is exactly what you want from this composition. This is old school dive style of, I see the supports, they cannot move, and we will jump on them and delete them, and that's what they've been doing.
That's a fair review of last fight. They're probably still going to try and, you know, do that again. They're still mispawned. They haven't necessarily been punished out of it. Throws in a nice little pulse bomb right there. Not finding any delay blade, but you're coming up on other ultimates, and FTB is still kind of holding this frontline position.
Oh, there's the first pick. It's onto Raiko. That's the main support for Disclosedn't. Chris Kringle goes low and gonna get taken down. And with how close these Basement Dweller spawns are, even the loss to lunch is not going to be too bad for them. FIB is just gonna stall out a bit. The pulse bomb's gonna come in. They're going to try to remech with that bomb coming in. It's an interesting play, but I don't know if I agree with it, but it stalls out the point just the same.
Oh man, that was some fantastic stuff from Disclosedn't. Eventually, yeah, the spawns are gonna come in. But I mean, so far, these teams are starting to sing up each other pretty darn well. These Tracer players are both trying to find out exactly who to really pounce on at the right time. And so far, they're getting a lot of value.
They absolutely are. And now they're going to fight for this high ground, but they're just not going to even engage Disclosedn't. They're just going to find these supports and delete them. That is like 3 fights in a row now where Basement Dwellers have just had that backline drop out from under them.
Oh man, it's crazy too, because like that's where CVS Pharmacy came into play right there. You saw like subtle assists right there. Not even having to use too many ultimates to invest into that fight. I think Basement Dwellers, I think they've got time. They're chilling. They got out of spawn. I think their future is bright. And I think Disclosedn't, if they can play around these support ultimates just right, yeah. Let's see what Lawful has to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, this minefield has gotten the value in the past, but will it continue to? No picks so far, but it's gonna separate out a lot of Disclosedn't, and Chris Kringle's gonna get caught out. There's the EMP again, right onto those 2 supports. They don't care. They draw out the Transcendence with it as well. They get Sheaves, but they don't get Lunch. And that might just be all that Basement Dwellers need, is to only lose that 1 hero. CVS Pharmacy not going to find any picks there, and Lunch is going to do some work before getting bursted down by CVS. There's the Coalescence, and they've got 2 fronts here onto Basement Dwellers. Chris Kringle drops in the beat late into the fight, but it is a 1 fight all the same.
That is a Walgreens fight right there. And the CVS pharmacy again with the Sombra. Saw Lunch get a nice little pick onto Iceberg. So there was some kind of Tracer, kind of dealing with Tracer. But I think the main kind of thing again, I think this Lucio, I think it's making them a bit too fast for Basement Dwellers to really find an opportune time where they're all kind of grouped up. I think yeah, Chris Kringle getting a lot of value on this Lucio here.
And there it is again. Cheese gets hacked, and Iceberg comes and finishes it off. Chris Kringle's going to get taken down, though, once more. Both of these supports getting taken down, but Raiko next to fall. But it may not matter if they don't have the sustain, because Disclosedn't have the damage. They've got the bomb coming in.
Wow, that was
not going to find the picks, but still, it's an overtime fight they've got left.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got basically 3 ultimates at that. Phantom Trips has the Echo Duplicate. Phantom Trips popping off, yeah, in the first round, popping off right now when the time needs it most, and gets down Iceberg.
If there's a time to pop off for Phantom Trips, it would be now. They've got the duplicate, and they are looking to use it, but they need to stall out for the rest of their team to get there. Kale is going to get hacked and bursted down by CVS Pharmacy. There's the copy coming in onto the Diva. And the big EMP from CVS Pharmacy. No health, lots of damage, getting pumped out. It's a trade there. Lawful's mines are going to take out Iceberg, but it's looking like Disclosedn't is getting the best out of it. I still can't get over the shield being so wide, so big, so absolutely large. Chris Kringle getting taken down. And it's just back and forth, trade after trade for all these teams. The Echo gonna go low, and Phantom Trips getting taken down. Disclosedn't might have their stand, might have their moment. They just need to hold on for a little longer. Lucio goes low, gets taken down. It's just Lawful. They're gonna get hacked. They're gonna try. It's gonna be the Diva standing on cart, just firing, spinning and spinning and spinning around, never coming down. And 108 meters is where we're gonna stop.
Yeah, that was pretty assertive from Disclosedn't right there. That Summer pick doing absolute wonders. You saw, I mean, you saw lots of moments of shining from Basement Dwellers. So you saw maybe they didn't need, like there's a time when Disclosedn't had 2 support ultimates. Basement Dwellers played around it just perfectly. They knocked out Chris Kringle, no beat in sight, and then they I believe pushed with a counter Transcendence to counter like EMP. But I think the main kind of thing for both of these teams. So it looks like they can play both of this kind of dive sort of deal, and when it's on that second point of Blizzard World where there's like those high grounds, there's those like flank routes, those tunnels and whatnot. I think then the kind of like the peel for each other. I think that's where I think a lot of Disclosednt's success is coming from, because yeah, you can dive CVS Pharmacy, but once you TP, it's like yeah, you expect a TP, but then you've got FTB covering for the supports. You got Iceberg making a rampage on Lunch or something like that. So I think with defense, Basement Dwellers got a pretty good education session from how Disclosedn't like to run their things. What's something that you've seen kind of shine for Basement Dwellers?
I think for Basement Dwellers, you've seen some really good play from Phantom Trips on this Echo, but I think if you're going to see Basement Dwellers succeed, they need to get more peel for their supports. They need to get more support. They need to get more peel for Lunch and Cheese, because Lunch and Cheese have been dying so much at the start of fights. It's just been an absolute open season for Lunch and Cheese, and Disclosedn't, well, they're eating well tonight because they have been catching themselves pretty well. Nearly taking out Kale there at the start, but CVS Pharmacy does not find the hack. Kale is able to blink away, but they're gonna find Lofal and take him down. Not looking good. They're just gonna try and surround, but Cheese just takes down both the Tracer and that Sombra, and Basement Dwellers repel that first attack really well.
I mean, you know, Cheesy popping off, a nice old 2K. This Brig is going to prove harder to really just walk up and dive on with this kind of defense. Oh, it looks like Phantom Trips. That was dangerously close. Whew.
Oh, that was a hold your breath moment if you're a Basement Dwellers fan, but Phantom Trips stays alive, and the The defense is holding strong. What a blink coming out from Basement Dwellers from Kale. Just jump scaring Iceberg over on that high ground, just slingshotting themselves forward. CVS Pharmacy stays alive long enough to get back out of there and back into the fight, but Iceberg will go down before they can get back in. In comes the Pulse Bomb getting thrown in. Really great boost there. I'm not sure who that was from. It might have been from Waffle. Sending FTV right into Kale's Pulse Bomb. CVS Pharmacy is going to get taken out, and Disclosedn't have gone through half of their time on this attack.
I think FTP is sweating just a little bit. I think the Steve is finding some hard kind of who to target when, who to dive on when, and then like in the middle of the dive, you got a Discord Orb, you get Whip Shot, and then Phantom Trips with a unique little spin on things. Kale, I think, is getting a lot of subtle value that maybe not has previously gotten on the Tracer here. But look at this flank though.
That flank is interesting. They're trying to dislodge the people on this high ground. They're trying to go for these supports, and that is where they have found a lot of success, but Raiko's gonna get taken out, but Iceberg doesn't care! Double kill Pulse Bomb onto the back line. Phantom Trips and Cheesy, the two carries are gone, but is it enough, I ask? It might just have to be these DPS on Disclosedn't, putting the team on their back and coming in. But there's the minefield. The EMP gonna come out to say hello. The copy also coming in. Basement Dwellers are not ready to give up this point. They have the ult to potentially hold it, but that copy is going to get bursted down. Raiko is going to immediately Kamehameha Phantom Trips off the face of this earth. The Pulse Bomb eat from FTB. What a perfect recall, I believe, from Iceberg to dislodge that Pulse Bomb, which could have been a disaster. And through a lot of ults from Basement Dwellers, they used everything but the kitchen sink. They still cannot hold.
Wow, that was, I didn't expect that Saul to begin with. I didn't expect it to get as much success as it did. Walgreens still picking up some cleanup kills over here, but overall that was pretty good from Basement Dwellers. So we can see that they're really good at kind of stringing along. So we kind of see how they want to play the dive. So I think heading into this goes in Iceberg. A nice little zoning pulse one, but CVS Pharmacy finally takes out lunch.
Finds lunch, and you're just gonna fall apart without that. Or I mean, Phantom Trips could find a headshot on Raiko and take them down. FTP getting demech. It's disaster for Disclosedn't. They can't get any further.
Yeah.
Lunch will die again, though.
Lunch has actually been doing a surprising amount of spare killing himself. Probably gonna, yeah, they're just gonna zone Sombra right there. But I think so far Lunch trying to take it on with Sombra, kind of mano a mano. It's kind of warded off Iceberg for the time being. Maybe kind of focusing on a bit more of a frontline kind of thing. But looks like Walgreens is back at it again.
Back at it again, just trying to harass that Zen in the back line. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about these coordinated dives. Just getting in, finding that Zen, coming in with Iceberg and CVS and just taking them down. Now they have some ults disclosed, and this could be how they get this map and bring themselves to 2-0. Already coming in, has the opportunity. Chris Kringle's gonna go low. There's the EMP, catches 3, but it's Chris Kringle first to fall, and they cannot go any further. Phantom going to go low. Eventually the EMP will wear off, but a huge amount of damage coming in onto this Zenyatta. There's the rally, but it will not help this team, that team that has died, but it could just be the turning point. FTB getting demech is a huge pool of health that they no longer have, and Basement Dwellers may just hold. No, but Cheesy goes down, and there's the re-engage. Picks going both ways. Who is going to come out on top in this scrappy fight? It looks like it may eventually be Basement Dwellers, but it's Disclosedn't backing up and trying to go back. Basement Dwellers, they're pushing the cart. What is happening? I'm very confused between what team is winning.
Oh, that's a pretty fair review. These fights between these two teams, it's a scramble board. It's like they start their own game of Monopoly midway through a fight. I love to see it. They have a lot of brain. They have a lot of comms. They have a lot of thought behind each kind of action. This action specifically seems to be Lawful trying to go for a frontline, but FTB eats up another Pulse Bomb.
Gobbling it up, and just no pulse bombs are coming through, not when FTB is on the case. And Lawful is going to go low. This Echo is going to get bursted down with some Coalescence help from Reich, and the cart going to nearly push through after some stalls, but the Transcendence is there from Lunch. That could be the turnaround. The pick on Chris Kringle is absolutely a really great way to start that off. There comes the Pulse Bomb from Iceberg. No picks coming through. Lunch goes very low. Will they be able to stay alive? They're going to get taken out. They're going to get taken out. The bomb finding a few more, and it was almost a good stall, but it's not enough. And Disclosedn't take another cake. They take themselves up to 2-0.
Yeah, some crazy stuff coming out from CVS Pharmacy. This is have to give props to that. Fantastic Sombra, the EMPs, the hacks, super crucial in a lot of these moments. I think they try to shut down Lawful a lot of the time, or like it would come as like a side benefit. As you can see with this play of the game, Lawful kind of just cruising on that ball. Well, I think a really interesting thing you point out, there was a lot of fights that went on for a long time. There was a lot of wars. There was a lot of just like a fight happens and then it's just like, who on earth is coming out on top? First of all, love to see that. Second, I think the kind of main thing, I think both of these, I think the reason why they last so long is that both of these teams, I think what they end up doing, they actually start fighting each other's DPS when they don't necessarily try, maybe they don't necessarily try and focus on that first, but maybe it starts out with like, oh, okay, get some burst damage on the front line, on FTB, on the ball, and then it moves over to the supports, because then the supports are like in your face, because these supports go kind of ham, and then that's where the DPS come in. So it's maybe not like DPS v DPS, you know, like front line, but it's still kind of like there. That's my theory.
Hey, yeah, no, I completely agree.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite kind of takeaway from Disclosedn't? Because so far, Disclosedn't 2-0.
I think the real lesson that we can learn from Disclosedn't, I think the lesson that a lot of us, especially those of us down in the same sort of tier as they are in terms of, maybe even if we're not in Trank, but our rank in Overwatch, not any real person, not some, you know, my friend who's gold. I'm not gold. But we could all learn a little bit of from Disclosedn't, which is focus the support.
Hey.
Look, I'm just saying,
It's fair.
there's so many times when you see Basement Dwellers supports both appear in the kill feed, and like 10 seconds later the entire team falls apart. And that's just, you cannot win a fight without your supports unless you have some DPS pop the absolute heck off. And Basement Dwellers have had a bit of trouble peeling for these supports. So really, it's been difficult. And I think if you could get a little more peel from Basement Dwellers, you might see a different story. But we're going to be going to a quick halftime before we get in. Disclosedn't up 2-0. Can Basement Dwellers turn around? You'll have to stick around and find out after these short messages.
When we were 15. When we were 15, I remember car rides, small fights, conversations all night. I never saw you as anything more than a friend, but now I see you in a new light. We're getting older, there's a sparkle in your eyes that wasn't there before. You give me butterflies, it makes me wonder if there could be something more. We were only kids when we first met. Now let's discover what we haven't yet. I don't wanna wonder what could have been. So baby, take my hand and let my love in.
Hello and welcome back to Tranquility. We've got the rest of our match here for you. We've got Disclosedn't currently up 2-0 against Basement Dwellers, and honestly, McMissile, it seemed like Disclosedn't have been just a little bit ahead of the Basement Dwellers in terms of target focus and in terms of just general comms, I think, because you have seen the absolute torment that they have been putting those Basement Dwellers supports through when they're playing the dive. That Sombra Tracer duo is deadly, and it has proven itself time and time again. Do you think the Basement Dwellers can get some peel for it?
That is something we touched upon before the halftime. I think with TC on the brig, they try and peel for it, but as we ended up seeing, FBD just going in on the diva, all abilities unleashed on poor Zenyatta. Just rest in peace, forever be remembered. But yeah, I think heading into the next map, which I don't want to spoil everything. We haven't seen it in a hot second, but heading into payload as in its entirety, I think they're gonna have a bit more of a because you saw some success be gained from Basement Dwellers once it reached that payload section. I think that was just maybe a bit of a case of Blizzard World and all the oh, it's right there, Route 66. Welcome back to the Wild West.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting our kicks on Route 66, and I'm pretty excited here because Route 66 is going to be a pretty good for the style of play that the Basement Dwellers have been just begging for at this point. And we do see a little bit of a roster change for Disclosedn't, with Hawkfire coming in on the Diva on the tank. So we're seeing a bit of a swap coming in onto that Diva. Hopefully they'll be able to live up to their predecessor's former glory.
Yeah, I think that's gonna really throw off the Basement Dwellers. They're expecting the same kind of ways that Disclosedn't has been diving. They know exactly where their front line is. They know where that 600 HP of Diva is sitting at. Now it's gonna be a little bit more different. Disclosedn't, again, with the defense, they're kind of starting off with it this time, so it's gonna be interesting to see that. But so far, it looks like Basement Dwellers are gonna be going for a bit of a Genji performance.
I'm interested about that Phantom Trips Genji. We've seen a lot of them on that Echo, but can they play the Robo Swordsman? It's gonna be an early pick coming out, but an early D-Mech coming on as Hawkfire finds themselves right in front of a deflecting Genji and getting absolutely headshot by Phantom Trips. Basement Dwellers are gonna start rolling through, but the staggers are still staggering out. Iceberg is going to take their sweet time, pepper in some damage, and eventually back out. All but get picked off!
Back out into the top area of the screen right there. A Tracer diff established by Kale right there, and now the aggression and momentum being made. Ooh. Maybe take away right there.
Huge headshot onto Phantom Trips from Hawkfire, and it's rough now for Basement Dwellers to keep going. They've got to get up to these ultimates. This Pulse Bomb needs to get some kind of pick, and it needs to do it fast because really you can't just keep going into this 4v5. You have to find some picks soon, but Moira goes down low, right? Not gonna find anything, and its lunch can be found out soon, and there's Cheesy getting taken down soon after, and Disclosedn't finding a quick victory there.
They did get that initial pick onto Phantom Trips. Remember that nice little headshot? It was like, ooh, now it's like a 45 or something like that. But then the Basement Dwellers is still kind of chilled up there with a 4-player kind of thing going. Disclosedn't the entire time. Only when Phantom Trips actually came back were they able to actually take that. So I think Basement Dwellers is building up more of a presence this time, and it's easy to do that when you have about 5 ultimates. But Disclosedn't has 5 ults first, and looks like Cheesy's out.
And that's the big thing with these ultimates, is that it's nice to have them. It's nice to have all 5, but you gotta make sure you can use them early and use them to great effect. CVS is gonna find out what happens when you chase down a Zen too far. Phantom pulls out the blade, but it is immediately countered with a great beat by Chris, and they're gonna get taken down by the coalescence of Reich. Hawkfire gonna use that Diva remake, but gonna get a pick anyway onto the Tracer, onto Kill, and already a lot of ults used on both of these sides, but Basement Dweller is still not finding any purchase.
Not necessarily. Not just yet. We got 1 minute. We got both support ultimates. Disclosedn't only has that, that Walgreens EMP. What could it possibly do against Basement Dwellers? Looks like they're gonna be playing around this kind of point now. Goes for the EMP and gets eliminated.
It's taken out by Lunch. Usually you want that Transcendence to take. You want the EMP to take out the Zenyatta first, but they couldn't get the damage in onto Lunch first, and it's just a really good fight win for Basement Dwellers. A bit expensive, but a win nonetheless.
Absolutely, and we got 30 seconds left. You're definitely going to be taking that. Iceberg going to be going away. Now kind of Walgreens, yeah, also going away. They don't necessarily have a lot of time here. They may be thinking about a last second touch. It looks like they are going to go for it.
They do get that last second touch. They don't have much in the way of ults to really do it with, and Lunch is gonna find out a pretty great stuff from Chris Kringle. Gonna get taken out themselves. There's a blade from Phantom Trips. It needs to be big. It's gonna get the Moira. It's gonna get Hawkfire. It's gonna get Iceberg and CVS Pharmacy. Phantom Trips saves the fight and saves the map, potentially even the match for Basement Dwellers.
You know what I have to say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's crazy. Fantastic stuff coming out from Phantom Trips right there. And now Lawful has the mines. Disclosedn't only really have their support ultimates, nothing too aggressive, I would say. And now Basement Dwellers actually have a lot of high ground control with this kind of composition.
They really do, and that's what they want. They want to take this high ground. They want to force Disclosedn't into really uncomfortable positions, but they need to have this peel. Otherwise, CVS Pharmacy and Cheesy are just going to get absolutely devoured by CVS Pharmacy. They can't keep letting it happen. They just can't.
They can't keep giving you away with this. And now you're Hawkfire, nice DM in this spawn. Now Basement Dwellers, I think they're expecting this more and more. They've slowly been improving. They've got the cart about halfway through the map. Lawful, working the way to try and make Hawkfire's life a little bit miserable. And when you've got mines, you can definitely do that by separating the team. Looks like Hawkfire a little bit separated. Lawful takes the opportunity to make a dive.
Good fade from Reich, just able to disappear from the screen of Lawful. Not going to get picked off. Very crucial there to keep that support coming in and staying alive, and even Phantom Trips cannot save it again. With a minute left, it is all Disclosedn't.
Yes. I was going to try and make a name pun there, but as I try to look at the name, I also see 5 ultimates from their side too. A little bit daunting from the side of Basement Dwellers. I think this is going to be a bit of another kind of tough one. Last time they did cinch it out with Phantom just landing a nice little ace. I think this one's going to be a little bit more harder. Seamus Pharmacy. I think the kind of support line for Disclosedn't is a bit more vulnerable kind of here. But let's see how that kind of works out for Basement Dwellers. Looks like they can take me up a bit of a different rotation this time.
They do. They go up to this high ground. Lawful brings out the mines. Not going to find a pix there, but the pulse bomb will find it. Quality over quantity, says Kale. But Lunch and Cheesy are both going to go down, and it is just the same story again and again, McMissile. The supports of Basement Dwellers fall, and so too falls the team. Phantom Trips needs to pull out another massive blade. They need to stay alive first to do it. Lunch is going to use that Transcendence just to keep them alive. They're going to find the pick onto the Moira. It might be enough to get that support pick, but Phantom Trips is going to go down. The EMP catches absolutely everyone, and it's not going to be much left for Basement Dwellers unless Cheesy comes out with something pretty big here with that 21/9 screen. Gets hit with the remake. Hawkfire takes them down mid-rally. The beat comes out from Chris Kringle to seal the deal. Kale goes down. It's just not enough. Immediately hacked Phantom Trips can't even pull out the blade. Lawful uses the mines to try and keep this point in the favor of Basement Dwellers. The stall has been going on for a long time, but it won't end up with much further for Basement Dwellers. It's still going to keep going. The pulse bomb thrown in, not finding any picks. There's the blade from Phantom Trips, but you only get one clutch a map, and it's round 1. Solidly going pretty well for Disclosedn't.
Wow. Basement Dwellers, that was another really long fight, another really long stall. They had their support ultimates. Unfortunately, both of them died earlier, but they came back just in time with the Transcendence. Coming up, I think Kale was a really key part in a lot of these fights, but also specifically the kind of objective for like the kind of win condition kind of scout for the side of Basement Dwellers. Able to apply a lot of pressure in a lot of different ways to a lot of different people at just those right times, and I think how that helped in that kind of last fight, because like you saw, the numbers advantage was going to Disclosedn't half the time. They also had started out that fight with 5 ultimates. I think Basement Dwellers was really good at focusing on peeling. I dare say in those last moments when there was a lot to do, and when they were peeling and like doing those kind of things, it wasn't even necessarily just like, oh, Tracer goes back for the support. It was Tracer goes for Brig on the front line. It was Brig goes with Lawful on the center dive, or Phantom Trips going out or applying some pressure to Iceberg, maybe fend them off, get some value from the HP pools. But overall, Basement Dwellers have to make one heckin' good of a defense here, because Disclosedn't is not done just yet.
They basically need to get that full hold them at point A. Otherwise, it might be all over for their chances of winning this match and going to 4-2. They might drop down to 500 further into that Wolfpack at the center of the rankings. And now going forward, it's the engagement. Kale comes in, gets a lot of ult charge, but it's going to get immediately burst down. Both the DPS is gone. For once, it's not the supports, but Basement Dwellers just cannot they can't keep it going. Lunch gets taken down. Cheese will soon be alone on this team. Lawful gonna get eventually burst down, and a quick fight win for Disclosedn't.
I'm gonna say Disclosedn't looking pretty dominating so far. Just kind of all around. They're just so well oiled. Basement Dwellers not out of it just yet. They know they're waiting. They're patient. Patience always pays off. Patience, something about virtue and stuff. Lawful gets hacked, but that's just okay. 3 minutes. And you got a nice little sight of the objective, 70% to a pulse bomb. You're kind of matching Disclosedn't with the DPS kind of ultimates, but now you have a fight on our hands.
We do, and already some aggressive Tracer play has brought Kale almost to the point of that pulse bomb, but the earliest pick is going to go into Chris Kringle, but the bomb from Iceberg gets 2. It's still even though a 3v3 on the point, but immediately the pulse bomb getting thrown in from Tails does not find any picks, and that pick onto Lunch is not looking good for the basement dwellers. They need something to help them stabilize, but it's 4v2 at this point. They need the Genji, they need the Brig, but it's just not enough. It's not in time. They need to regroup and they need to go fast.
I mean, they've got time. They got 4 minutes. We're chilling. I mean, anything is possible on Route 66. It's the Wild West. Make your own freedom. Looks like Basement Dweller's gonna be making some I forgot the word for some fallbacks here as the Hawkfire presses the aggression on the bridge and is met with Iceberg wrapping around the back. They're really trying to choke Basement Dwellers here in this choke point on the high ground. But it looks like Lawful might be getting caught out here.
Oh, the hack coming in is big. It just allows Lawful to not really get as much value as they might like on any of these rollouts. Right is going to be the first to go down from Phantom Trips with that Swift Strike, but it's immediately answered with the 1-2 combo, the bomb, and the remake coming in, maybe sealing the deal for Disclosedn't. Coming in 3-0. They have the chance. It needs to be something legendary to come out from the Basement Dwellers, to come out from Lawful. There's not much time. They have some ults, but they need people to get there to use them, and they can't. It's 3-0 for Disclosedn't. They come away with the match.
Oh heavens! I'll pull up the prediction picture later, but for now, holy smokes! I think a really big factor of that was Hawkfire coming in from the side of Disclosedn't, and that's kind of like, oh, that might completely, change up how Basement Dwellers have, learned how to play against Disclosedn't so far. Hawkfire, a fantastic kind of swift of dynamic, kind of how the fight goes. Oh, fantastic, obviously. That was a fantastic moment. But yeah, I think Hawkfire coming in really kind of changed the game for how Basement Dwellers really wants to go at it. You saw the kind of DPS make these long kind of adventures, as I like to call them, across the map, trying to get some value, get some picks. But I think what it came down to, Disclosedn't pressing the How do you think Disclosedn't came out on top there?
I mean, I've been saying it all match long. It's the target focused. I mean, you saw some improvement from Basement Dwellers when you talk about how they started to not let those supports die first as much, but the target focus from Disclosedn't was still was just on a different level than one for Basement Dwellers. But of course we have one last map, just for fun, just for giggles, and we're gonna be going to push, and we're gonna be going to Esperanza.
Nice. The first time I said it, I was like, I know how to pronounce it, and I was like, Esperanza. I don't know. Someday I'll just have to visit in real life. I want to hear that genuine kind of. Is it a real place?
I believe. I mean, I assume it's, if not a real place, at the very least based off of like a real place. Like, like Nepal is not like the exact locations in Nepal are not a real place, but like
what?
Nepal is a real place. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, surprisingly, there's not a floating robot Buddhist temple in Nepal. Man. I wish one day the future will catch up to the world we see in Overwatch, but today is not that day. Society indeed.
Well, I think we're speaking of society, we might be seeing a Joker arc coming out from Basement Dwellers. Looks like Lawful on the Reinhardt, some Mei, some Cassie. It looks like all the horses have gone off the reins. They want to take this beautiful Esperanza map to a win, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, when you see this sort of fourth map style, I really do kind of like it for that fourth map, because it's a chance for these teams, especially Basement Dwellers, for teams that have been struggling a bit, to try something new, to treat it almost like a scrim, but also coming in for pride and treating it like we're going to at least take a map off these guys, improve the map score, and just come away with a little victory. But oh, not for Lawful though, as they go in a bit too far and get themselves caught out by that really good focus fire. And here you go. That is a quick win for Disclosedn't.
Some information during that fight, other than, you know, Disclosedn't coming out top. The predictions were 3-2 and, well, 3-1 and 0-4 for the side of Disclosedn't for the majority of the predicting strats. Very sorry, NRFT, as we may not coming out on top for Basement Dwellers. But also, Esperanza apparently doesn't exist. Thank you, Laggy, for crushing everybody's hopes and dreams. But what does exist about Esperanza is a fantastic 42.41 meter lead. Well, now it's rising. Dwellers have this kind of high ground advantage, but it looks like Iceberg and Chris Kringle in the backline doing some work.
Yeah, and exactly like you said, they just ran in and they just got the high ground advantage.
Yeah, Lawful on the Zarya. It's gonna be interesting. I think that might counter the Sombra a little bit, but we'll just have to see how it plays out.
It's an interesting choice. I don't know. It might be a throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks, but there's the EMP. There's the, oh, they're using all the ults. They're using all the ultimate missile. They're just, they've got every single Q button and they're gonna use it almost all simultaneously. It just Chris Kringle didn't press Q, and Chris Kringle was the first to fall, so what does that say? Press Q and you win, forehead. And just still moving forward, is the bot pushing the barricade even further now, 100 meters almost. The Basement Dwellers do have ults of their own, and they're gonna start to move in, take the bot, but everyone's behind them. Their Baptiste is gonna fall. Cheesy is gone out of the Deadeye. Phantom Trips just can't play the video game of Overwatch, and the magnetic grenade ends up sticking to the bus shelter. They can't play the video game. The beat comes out for the Basement Dwellers. It's too late for Phantom Trips, and it will only seek to delay for Kale and for Lunch. It's just too late.
Surely not. Lawful 1v3s. Lawful
No.
maybe doesn't 1v3 actually.
Lawful
I take
does
that
not
back.
1v3.
But what they do have are some pretty important ultimates. So you got Grav and you got Blizzard. What could possibly go wrong? Well, maybe one thing, and that's Chris Kringle's beat, who's been saving it for maybe since like last year, but might be coming in at the perfect time. But Basement Dwellers coming out with a SIP of their own, Genji, with the famed Genji from Route 66, and that classic support lineup coming out from Blizzard World, which did do a lot of work against a lot of the kind of pressure from Disclosedn't.
Yeah, you gotta love Chris Kringle saving that beat for Overwatch 3. Maybe we'll get to see it eventually. There's the EMP coming out from CVS Pharmacy. The Coalescence will take down Kale, but it might be a bit of a turnaround. Phantom Trips takes out 2, but the Pulse Bomb's there to take out the support. It's just the D.Va and the Moira, but the Moira finds themselves in the line of sight of the Basement Dwellers, of that Genji, who ends up getting trapped in a small room and just absolutely destroyed by Disclosedn't.
That's an understatement, but no, I did love that initial fight win from Basement Dwellers. They have not necessarily gotten a lead in the meterage per se, but anything is possible in Esperanza. Lawful has a grab. Chris Kringle's still with that beat, so maybe a bit dangerous. Hawkfire looking to maybe eat as well. Has eaten some pulse bombs in the past. But so far, Basement Dwellers regaining a bit of a control here. Oh, well, 5v4, anything's possible.
Caster Curse.
I'm sorry.
Immediately, you say, they're gaining some control here, Dead. Lunch goes low, getting taken out. Chris Kringle stays alive. Phantom does have this blade coming up. Might have to see if they get a successful grab to see if they can combo it out, but it's not looking good now for Basement Dwellers.
It's looking like they're being choke held in their spawn, but And, Hawkfire with the D.Va kind of falling dangerously low here, getting kind of plastered by this Lawful on the side. It looks like ultimates are going to come out now. About like 3, 4 at that time. Looks like no kills really happening yet. Fantastic feat. Getting a lot of value. Chris Kringle falling very low is going to eventually get picked out.
Chris Kringle goes in very deep into the backline of Basement Dwellers, gets themselves picked off by a well-timed shot from the Peacekeeper.
Oh yeah, Kale picking up some steam here, coming up on a high noon, but it looks like Iceberg actually is one looking around for some scouting here. Maybe also a Walgreens EMP in the works.
Oh, it's gonna catch 4 on the side of Basement Dwellers. And the question is, can they outlast it? The Coalescence finds Cheesy, and even though Lawful gets that pick onto Hawkfire, it might be enough. Kill goes so low, gets taken out by Iceberg. Long range Tracer shot. Those pulse pistols don't do much from long range, but when you've got 11 HP, hey, who knows? As the bot 2 meters for Basement Dwellers.
This is a huge up from 7 minutes ago. Love to see the progress. And now it looks like Hawkfire actually is going out to a Winston here. Oh, the cool new skin. That's crazy.
Wow, that is a cool new skin. You love to see the cool new skins coming out for season 4, and already just rolling out. It's not looking good. A few more fights going the way of Disclosedn't, and it could be all over. But Kale finds that first pick on Iceberg, and already Rick goes down, and the Basement Dwellers are holding fairly strong. But hey, guys, where's the bot going?
A little bit of a... Well,
guys?
Oh, nice. Kale hunts him down. Kale hunts him down. All under control. Speaking of control, Disclosedn't, 120 meters in the lead here. Phantom Sheriff does find a nice little stagger here, but I think coming up with ultimates, Lawful has beat Grav faster than they have beat right now, and I think all around Basement Dwellers are actually coming out on top of their ultimate economy, which has not necessarily happened a lot in the past, so maybe some momentum being started here, but those high grounds and flankers are dangerous. But Lunch takes out Raiko right there.
Lunch absolutely feasting there, taking out that Moira with a well-timed charge volley headshot onto that vulnerable support, and maybe getting a full fight win for his team off the back of it. Now moving through, going in onto that Genji, onto Phantom Trip. Not able to use the blade, but might really not need to at this point, because it is all over for Disclosedn't, and the barricade moving out.
Yeah, the Cyrus are coming in too. Some ultimates as well. 4 for actually both sides, so now this is going to get interesting. Last fight, Basement Dwellers had the advantage. They didn't even have to use the ultimates, but with that, Disclosedn't was able to gain a lot of ultimates. So now they might be trying to play for another kind of Walgreens CMP, but Basement Dwellers, they have the means to reach this checkpoint, and I think they might just give it their all.
They might, as they need to get it if they want to start a comeback here. The bot rolling in closer, going to end up getting the checkpoint, which is huge. The grab coming in from Lawful, not going to find any kicks, but with the triple kill with the Deadeye, keeping this alive for the Basement Dwellers. The bot's gonna keep rolling, and the comeback might just be real.
Kale gets 4. Holy, look at that DPS line from Basement Dwellers right there. 60 meters and counting, halfway there, everybody. But basically 4 ultimates for the side of Disclosedn't. Anything could happen though with that new rally, with that new brig. But I think Disclosedn't, if they're going for another EMP setup, they might actually be kind of countered, because Basement Dwellers, they might kind of see it coming, but it was too fast, it was too quick.
It was too fast, was too quick, like you said. The rally can come in, but it's not gonna save you now. Not when the Moira's on the field. Not the Coalescence EMP combo. An expensive fight, but a quick one. And there's no time. They just left the bot. Wait, that's so smart. They left the bot. They didn't even give a chance for Basement Dwellers to touch. And Disclosedn't with a full 4-0 sweep, and really smart play from just the entire time.
Oh yeah. I would almost say that's an understatement, but there was a lot. There was so many back and forths. These fights surprised me a lot of the times too. Kale popping 3 right there and then follows up with a 4th. I think that I just love the tempos, the melodies, the rhythms that both of these teams were playing throughout the entire time ever since first point control point when it went like all the way to like 52% and no one even died. Like that reminded me of that like shock match of like no one died in the first like 2 minutes of push. So I think these teams, some mean stuff, they play very similarly, and I think that might have actually caught Basement Dwellers off guard just a little bit. But overall, what's your other than the main take? Immediately thought of target priority, target focus. That is a lot of what it came down to. And I think with in that last map though, you saw how the kind of how it shifted a lot. It seemed like Basement Dwellers once they really put their mind to it, they did perform a lot better. I think I believe.
Hey, I really do agree there. Once they like, it's a really good team that can take 3 of those losses in a row, come into Esperanto, be pretty well and thoroughly beat for 7 minutes. They didn't get even a meter's worth of progress on their barricade, and still fight every single fight till the end. It was, it's something you can't teach, you can't coach. And I think if you're the Basement Dwellers, you still have to hold your head up high because you fought hard for that, even when it seemed like maybe you didn't need to. But they still fought hard for every single inch, for every single meter, and for every point. And it might not show in the scoreline, but we are all here to get better, to improve, and to learn. And there's a lot to learn from here. There absolutely is.
Oh yeah, I think quickly just I think Choi would agree. 4-0 just as the predictions went. A poor nerfs, a little bit maybe left out on the winner circles there, but I think there was a lot to gather here. I think given that the predictions were very different than what I imagined, the matches were very different from what we imagined. I think this game went out very differently from both how these teams imagined. So I think there's going to be a lot to scrim, lots of practice. And I think Basement Dwellers, now they're only going to be like, what, 3-3? You're basically 0-0. You're basically just started all over. And with that, you get a whole ton of new knowledge. I think their dives are going to improve a lot because they stick with that same kind of composition for 3 maps in a row. Even if they got, like it didn't matter. They were dominant. And I think that's what really perseveres.
Absolutely.
Or determined, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely determined. And I really enjoyed watching these 2 teams and watching these 2 teams be so determined, be so ready to fight for every single match and give their all. And I think that's what's really great, and that's why I'm really excited to see more of this, to see all of Stage 2 of Tranquility, to see Harmony, to see Discord, to see Transcendence. All of these tiers are so incredible for the determination that all these teams show. And I'm so excited to be cast in here. I'm so excited to be watching to see what happens. But that's it for us, Big Missile. I mean, there's a lot more Overwatch to be happening. We are right at the start of